back, just start to breathe, huge exhales, nice exhales. And as you're breathing, just this conscious, deep breath, we'll take a moment to connect with our intention. There was a person I was listening to this week who used to have a practice of just clapping throughout the day. And to the outsider, that would look so random, but she had an intention with it. And her thought was, so often I get just going, my momentum's just going, and I become less conscious of what I'm doing and conscious of even living my life. I'm just kind of doing a program, like especially with work or chores, all the things on the to-do list. It's like you just get your momentum going. And so for her, a clap kind of shook her system a little bit, kind of brought her right back to the present moment so that she could be living and breathing and conscious about what was going on again. And so maybe I'll clap or just snap a couple of times throughout class just to kind of shock our system back to this moment. But more than anything, I'll be reminding us to breathe, to be with the stretches that are happening, because so often it's pretty easy to just attend a yoga class and just get the stretches, which is fine. You will feel better from that. But when you're present with your body, it becomes a whole meditation practice in its own, helping to kind of harness that power to focus, to be living, to be with our experience. And so that's our intention for today, just returning back to the present moment, whatever tool it is that gets us here. So with that, to get us started, let's begin. The knees come into the chest and rock around just a little bit, specifically trying to listen for the little areas that have sensation. As you're rocking, maybe you're noticing the front of the hips or the low back, the sacral area. So be conscious of how the movement is helping. Good. So now extend left leg long to the ground. Just let it rest heavy. Right leg begins to straighten up to the sky. You've got options. You can just clasp around thigh. You can walk up to calf, or you can reach for the foot. Whatever helps you feel sensation of the hamstring stretching. And I'll talk us through being present with the stretch in this side, because hamstrings are really one of those areas that are major need to stretch for the majority of people right now in our society. So when I think of becoming conscious with my stretch, one tool that's helpful for me is to consciously scan through the stretch and find the one spot that feels the most intense on the stretch. It's like you could point a finger right at that spot. And then where it feels the most intense, imagine that there's a portal. And if you bring your attention away from it, just going to think on whatever to-do list has, whatever is going on outside of you, imagine that portal closes in it, like it keeps it tight. But by breathing into that spot as you're feeling the stretch, imagine you could open the portal. And that portal helps with circulation, it helps with flexibility, it helps with healing whatever's going on in the tissues. So find that spot. Let's take 2 more breaths, just being in that portal. Good. So now we're going to open the leg out to the right a little bit. Walk your right hand as high as you can reach on the outside of the leg. As the leg starts to open out to the right, keep your left hand on the left hips, just to remind that hip not to lift. So if that means your angle has to stay pretty high so it doesn't lift, great. It doesn't have to go super far down. It's more about just inner thigh sensation. There's one spot where you feel the stretch. Bring your awareness there. Open the portal through the next few breaths. As the leg comes back up, now left hand goes to the outside of the right leg. We're inviting the leg a little to the left, just by going not even to the 45-degree angle. You'll start to feel the outer hip, that IT band stretching. So find that spot. Pinpoint the portal. Help to breathe it open. And then we'll transform this into a twist. So your choice, you can keep the leg straight as you drop the leg lower, or you can bend the knee for the twist, whatever just feels better for the body. I like to extend right arm to the right so I can connect that shoulder to the earth, create an anchor. And then the weight of the lower body is what twists, what creates that nice elongation through low back. Okay, the hip starts to return down, slide the right foot long to the earth, and then left leg begins to extend up to side. Grab on wherever you can reach. Get it to a spot where you do feel sensation. And then again, locate the spot of highest sensation, that's the portal. Be with it, trying to open it. We were there for quite a while on the other side, so we'll be here for a little bit. How much can we expand that portal open? Bringing us back to presence if the monkey mind started to take over. Just one more breath. Good deep inhale. Exhale. Left hand grabs the left leg. The leg opens out a bit to the left. Just make sure the right hip doesn't have to rise off the ground. Leg lifts up. Right hand to the outer leg, just to weigh it down a bit as we go to IT band, maybe halfway down. And the portal open more. Taking the twist, maybe the leg bends, maybe it stays straight. but try to anchor left shoulder and left arm. Last deep inhale. Nice exhale. Good. So rise. Let both legs extend long on the ground. Reach the arms up overhead, pausing for just a moment with that long stretch. And you bring some space across the front of the chest. And then take an inhale. Exhale, lift the arms, and then the head rises, and then the whole back rises. At the middle, you can reset the flesh. And circle arms to sky. Inhale. Exhale, a nice forward fold. Both hamstrings beginning to stretch together for a moment. Sitting up. We'll use the blocks to create a really good arch in the spine. So the height that works for my back is to have the one that's closer be at the middle block height, and then put a further one at the low height. So this will be for my back and then my head. If this is too much, you could choose to maybe go low and then none, or just use your blanket. So know that you've got options if this is just not the height for your back. But as you start to head up and over, the block will either end up in between shoulder blades or just slightly lower than that spot. And then as you continue to let the head go over, just make sure the block's in the right spot for the head. Once you're there, let the arms rest on the ground to each side and feel how gravity just pulls the shoulders open. Keep on adjusting if you need to, and then just find a good spot where the spine is able to settle for a little while. Right? I'm right there with you. So much of my day is kind of curled in that I don't realize how much I need this opening. So maybe there's a portal to be found on this half, or maybe it's just the heart. That hunched forward shape, I imagine, kind of closes off the energy of the heart. So this is finally letting that portal be open. Bring awareness to your portal, whatever you're choosing, and take a few beautiful breaths. And about 3 more breaths, as slow as you can make it. And when you finish that third one, the chin will tuck into chest first, and then elbows or hands slide into the sides to help us press up. Just soften really easy into a forward fold. This is going to counter stretch what we just did in the spine. So at first, it's not about necessarily the muscles getting to their maximum stretch. This is just decompressing the spine again. A few easy breaths, letting gravity take over as much as possible. And if you reach a spot where you would like to go a little bit deeper into the muscle layer, re-straighten the low back. Pull forward any amount more, and then release to gravity. Straighten up the spine such that we can slide the feet into cobbler. And then release back forward. An option to tilt a little bit closer to the right knee for a moment. And take it over toward the left knee. And back through the center. Spine rises up, scoop the knees up, letting the feet slide to the ground, and take a few windshield wipers. Just feel it ease some of the tension out of that cobbler's pose. Beautiful. So, blocks to the side for a little bit, to our knees. Take some cat-cows or any intuitive movements that your body needs. Sometimes that is just like swaying the hips left and right a few times, or just any other things that feel good. You're welcome to intuitively add that in. Otherwise, just a normal cat-cow is fine. Spine back to neutral. We'll slide the blocks at medium height in front of us. Options are either kind of parallel with each other, like train tracks, elbows on them, or blocks more like a triangle and then elbows on them. So it's just whichever one feels better for you. We're putting the elbows on the blocks, keep the hips over the knees, and this is a puppy pose. So this allows, with the elbows lifted like this, it allows the chest extra space to really open up. So forehead just resting down toward the ground. Sometimes the position of the elbows makes it okay for hands to be in prayer position, and then that swings behind the back of the head. But sometimes it's better to just leave the hands on the floor. So take what feels good. See if the heart area can melt down to the ground just a little further. And here, have the hands find the ground so that the elbows can safely be bumped off the blocks, and then hips sink heavy toward the heels for child. Get a chance just in that last pose to open the energy of the heart, and then here it's a decompression of that arch. Okay, let's walk our hands off the mat to the left. And hands off the mat to the right. And hands back through the middle for a bonus breath. We'll take kind of that intuitive rise up to a down dog. So that might mean come to the hips for another cat-cow first. It might mean a calf stretch to each leg first. But eventually making our way sooner or later up to a down dog shape with any amounts of movement that feel good. In the down dog, let's take a moment to lift right leg up, stack the hips, and send the right toes behind your back so the knee can be a little bent. So that nice spiral through the body. And straightening the leg, re-square the hips, just set the right foot down to the floor. Left leg lifts, stack the hips, bend the knee, toes behind the back. And straighten legs, square hips, drop foot down. And start to take little baby steps, walking our way up to a forward fold toward top of mat. You can use blocks if you like or not. Next, inhale to rise. Pull the arms up. Give the head as much time as it needs to slowly rise. And hands down to heart. Open the elbows wide to each direction. Chest goes forward. Hands back to heart. Right arm comes into a stretch. So right arm crosses over the body, left arm comes within. And then even let that right shoulder push down as the head tilts to the left. Both arms open back out. And second side, left arm to the stretch, hug it in. Push the shoulder down, tilt head to right. And open. Beautiful. Hands back to heart. Drop the right hand to right thigh. Left hand circles up and over. Rise. Switch. Rise. Hands back to heart for a moment. The moment of that snap or clap, just bring ourselves to this moment. Breath. Living our life. Hands to the low back. Push the hips forward and continue to let the heart lift. Chin can either stay tucked to chest if that's more comfortable, or lift, kind of resting the head on the little spot that the shoulder blades make. Beautiful. Head rises, and then the spine stacks. Circle arms to sky, inhale. Exhale, a nice forward fold. Slide the hands up the shins, half lift. Exhale, hands slide back to floor. Right foot slides to back of mat. Keep right hand on floor, left hand to sky. Arm down, back knee down. From here, your choice. We'll take a few reps going back and forth with the leg straightening and then the leg bending. So your choice, if you want the blocks to be there so that it like lets your heart push forward through and then straighten back, that could be nice, but floor is also fine. Really, it's whatever works best for you right here. Next time they are in the half split, just pause for a few breaths. Finding the portal, the deepest part of the stretch here, and just breathe for a moment. Beautiful. So from here, bring this leg back so that knees are close together. Do have some space in between. We're going to stack both blocks on top of each other. Both blocks are at the low height for this first one. What we're doing is creating a variation of camel pose. So this will be the first variation. Eventually, I'll offer deeper variations such that eventually we're at the full camel. But you're welcome to stop at any point if you love the variation that you're at. So this first variation is just sit on those blocks. Have the hands behind you. This is an opportunity if you want to take it for a wrist stretch. And then you'll scoop your tailbone under if you're not feeling huge sensation in the thighs. So scoop tailbone under. And this is similar to before where chin can either stay on chest or if it's comfortable to rest on that little pillow that the shoulders make, that's fine too. So either way, take a few breaths. Make sure you do feel quad stretch. And just notice if your body would crave to go a little higher, just take note of that because the next time we do this on the second side, you'll have the option to bump one of the blocks heights higher if you want. So just take an inventory if this is a good height or if you would want more.
I think to feel it in our lower back as well.
It can be. Yeah. Not pinching though, right?
No, it's not pinching, it's just letting me know.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, as we're rising, bring the chin in. Start to walk yourself up to fingertips and then walk back through the middle. Good, remove the blocks. Here you can take whatever recovery feels good. So maybe it's just kind of shifting around intuitively on the knees. Maybe it's just a child pose up to a down dog or adding in a full flow, chaturanga. Cobra, down dog. So briefly, once you're in the down dog, we'll do the same option to lift the leg. So right leg up, bend the knee, open the hip. Maybe just a teeny bit more spiral. And set the foot down. Left leg up, spiral open, and down. Walking up toward top of mat. Really enjoy this forward fold as a moment. This is our big time to recover from that camel variation we did. Let the spine hang for a little bit. When you're ready, circle the arms up to sky. Hands to heart. Elbows open, chest forward, and hands to heart. Now place your hands on your thighs as you're in a fierce pose. So hands to thighs, and then use that press to help you round the shoulder blades back until you feel the stretch in the spot in between the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Try to straighten back to normal. Circle arms back up to sky. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Elbows open again. Hands to heart. And then pointing the hands down, just dive your way down to the forward fold. Slide hands up, shins half lift. Then hand slide back down. Left foot to back of mat. Left hand to floor. Right hand to twist. Good. Hand down. Set the knee down. And back and forth a few times. Maybe shift where the foot is. Maybe you liked the blocks before, so slide them in. The next time you're just straight legs, stay in the half split. Find the portal. Just breathe into that portal. All there is in this moment. Just the breathe. Half split, front leg straight. Okay, taking this knee next to the other. So know that the goal of this variation of the camel is quad stretch more than anything else. So if it felt before like you would want more height to get a little deeper, then rather than low, low, do low and medium. Sit on that. Hands behind. For me, my quads are open enough that just sitting here isn't enough, so I have to scoop my tailbone under. That little tiny tuck brings me right into the stretch. So head is whatever spot's comfortable, tucked in or back. Quads stretching, no pain on knees. One more breath. In and out. Head up. Walking up to fingertips to give ourselves a couple of inches as we walk in. Remove blocks to each side. And child pose, down dog, a flow, whatever type of recovery feels delicious for this time. Making our way up to top of mat when you're ready. Hands can be on leg or floor when you get there. But once you're there, walk hands to the outside of the right leg and then the right knee bends. And that new portal, breathe into it. Walking over to left. Left knee bends. Walking back through the center, take a moment for the spine to be completely heavy with gravity taking over. Next inhale to rise. All the time your head needs. Hands to heart. Elbows open. Hands back to heart. Hold the right knee for a moment, just balance. Pick back warrior, 3 variation airplane arms. Softly landing warrior 1. Clasping hands behind back. Bow forward, trying to pull the arms away into the shoulder stretch. Release the hands to the inside of that front foot, and then even walk your hands to the long edge of the mat. Put your toes to the long edge of the mat. Any variation of arms for the forward fold. Grabbing ankles is an option. Walking hands forward or hands through the legs. Softly bend the knees. Roll the head up. Heel toe the feet in once. And then pivot on the heels so that all the toes are pointing to the mirror. This should be about the distance to keep the hips square, but if you need to shorten even more, that's fine. We'll take a pyramid from here. So keep hips square as you bend forward. The halfway down point, readjust hands to shins, blocks, or floor. And then continue to release the spine as far as you'd like. Find the portal, breathe into it. Prepare to shift your weight forward such that we're going to end up in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Shift and step, and release the spine back down. Pull the arms up to rise. The heart. Elbows open. The heart. Floating left knee, try to balance. Find a spot to look at that's not moving. Take back, open up, warrior 3. Soft land, warrior 1. Clasp hands behind back, bow forward. As hands release, pivot the hands and the big toes toward long edge of mat. Another opportunity for this stretch. So maybe a new arm position, maybe not. And here, find the hands on the ground. We'll take a moment to do a side lunge. So right knee bends. You can either stay high or you can drop glutes all the way almost to the heel. So still the stretch. That might mean elbows are going further to ground, if that's where you're at. Okay. Straightening through both legs at the top and the left. And straighten both legs up at the top. Soft bend to both knees. Roll the spine up. One more time. Pivot the heels so that we're facing forward, top of mat. Hands on the hips, keep the hips square as we bend forward. Dropping hands to shin, blocks or floor. Open the portal, a few more breaths. Sliding forward to a forward fold. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins, half lift. Exhale, hands plant. Toggle the feet back. Down dog for just a moment. And then knees to the ground. So this will be our last camel pose. You're welcome to take option 1, small blocks. Option 2, one gets higher. Option 3 is a block at each side for the hands, or just a full camel if that's what you'd like. So if you're doing one of the previous variations, just start to head back like we did. If you're doing the full camel, hands to the low back, push the hips forward, heart lifts. Maybe one or both hands drop. Just 3 breaths, not too much longer here. Last inhale. Exhale. Start to reverse your way out. If you're in the camel, hands to low back. Gentle rise. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I just didn't want us to be too long because we did so many back bends. But I would like us to come out with a rabbit. So put the forehand on the ground and then circle the arms around, grabbing your heels. And then from here, you lift the hips up, and this will rock you to the crown of head. This is a really good counter stretch after the camel. Beautiful. Soften the hips down. Extend the arms forward. And then come forward, just kind of easing your way onto belly for a moment. Good. Opening the right arm to the right. Plant the left hand under the shoulder. Flip to the right cheek being on the floor. And then as you press into the left hand, maybe you're stacking the hips, if that's enough for the shoulder stretch. Maybe the top foot plants behind you. And maybe you continue to just rotate through the whole spine, just walking your way back. Even maybe top hand behind your back, the left hand. So basically choose the distance you need to get to for the right shoulder stretch. And start to ease out. Left arm extends out to left. Flip onto your left cheek. And then as you press, you find the correct distance for the body on this side. So maybe just stacking. Maybe top leg comes to plant behind. Maybe even further. And unwind. Slide the hands under the shoulders, press back for a child. Rising torso up to sit, legs out in front. So two options. The option one is left foot tucks into the thigh. The right leg is just a little bit wide. So option one is just simply lean over the right leg like this. Option two is this left leg flips back and then extends back. So it's almost like a runner's lunge, just kind of flattened onto the ground. So whichever one of those two seems better, choose it. You have the option for the blocks to support you, such as stacking them up so your forehead can rest or resting your elbows on them. A couple of good breaths through this half. Raising up. If you tuck the foot back, unwind it, and then switch sides. So again, option one, right foot to thigh. Option two, the knee tucks back and slides back as far as you can. Lean toward the straight leg. Rise. Beautiful. Unwind the legs. And I'd like to wrap up with a shoulder stand if that's in your practice. If not, the variation you're going to do is come to your back, slide a block under your hips. and you'll let the legs float. So you get this nice chance for the blood and lymph to drain, and even that nice curvature to the low back after all this effort we've done. So if you can do a shoulder stand, I usually approach it from rolling, and then you capture your hips with your hands, and then you straighten up. So if that's not what's looking good today, just go back to laying down, slide the block under your hips. Oh, you're so close. Yeah, try again. Make sure there's enough space behind it, but yeah, you're so close. Oh, you're super close. You'll get it again, don't worry. So you've got options to play with here. We'll be here for just a minute or so. So options to just stay. Option to take a turn with right leg coming closer to your face. Spending about the amount of time you want to be there before you switch to left. Same with option for both legs to go down in front, plow pose. Good. And at this point, you can stay a bit longer, plow pose or shoulder stand, or at any point, roll softly out. Your hands are like brakes on the floor. You try to roll out as softly as you can. Nice and slow. When you get there, no rush. Stay there as long as you'd like. If you are out before others, just do any last things that feel good. So a hand to each knee rocking, or maybe a twist. Both knees fall to each side. So take your time, whatever feels good for this last little bit. We're eventually coming towards Shavasana, but it's not a rush to get there. It's these last things that are like little gifts for the body. When you're preparing for Shavasana, we did do a lot of arching, kind of back bend type stuff today. So if that means the back is just a little bit more alive right now, sometimes I'll keep the feet planted and just let the knees fall into one another. So sometimes that can be a really good gift for the back. But if you're feeling great just to do anything, straight legs or cross legs or whatever feels good, you're welcome to take any other variation of Shavasana you'd like today. In these next few minutes, try to just find presence with your breaths. Nothing else to worry about, nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do, just So as to not startle the body, take a good breath in and out. Here I'll do our clap. All parts of you return to presence with what is right here, right now. Body on the floor. Just enjoying this restful state. Beginning to add movements and stretching that feels good to the body. And it's nice to do a fetal position. Maybe a good 3 or 4 breaths there. Only rising up when you feel ready. Eventually, hands to the heart. And we return to this little tool we have in our toolbox now. Recognizing if we choose, we could snap or clap ourselves back into presence at any point that we choose. So with this new tool, this option we have available to us, just presence to lead us on. Let's wrap up the time we got to share together with a sound of oh. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.